Alrighty, you guys, welcome back to a brand new episode here on
The ankle.
Hello, foodie beauties.
He looks like a fat Pauly Shore.
When the chow is tea, but the finna is gag, sis, I'm dead as a child.
So, good day, you guys. I hope everyone's having a beautiful and wonderful Tuesday. Members, happy Monday. Thank you so much for tuning on in, you guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, like and subscribe. So, we are going to be getting back into the swing of things. I just needed a little bit of time. I do apologize. And just all of the live stream shenanigans and BS. It's been a lot to have to work through. I mean, I enjoy doing it, but it's still a lot, you know. But I do want to get back into the swing of our normal stuff with Rosie and Gypsy Rose also. More foodie stuff too. So we are getting there, guys. For today's video, we are checking out my experience on the Whatever podcast. My thoughts. So, whatever. I'm not sure what the Whatever podcast is. Is that the one that she traveled out to Cali for? Not sure. But, yeah, it's a longer one, guys, so we're going to have a lot to talk about, I guess. I don't know whether it was a good or bad experience, but we will find out. I also want to go back and look at some old Charlie Gold compilations of Rosie stuff since she's deleted a lot. I think that could be a good place to go for some archived stuff. Plus, we love Charlie, so duh. But yeah, that's the plan, you guys. Thank you so much as always. Hope everyone's having a beautiful week now that we are finally through the freaking crazy holiday season. Like, ugh. Thank you so much, you guys, for sticking in there with me. With that, I won't waste any time. Let's dive right on into this. Shall we?
I look wild. Good morning. It's like
Good morning, Rosie. That is a way to start the video.
a little past 7:30 in the morning.
Okay, Amber could never.
I'm about to finish wrapping up packing the rest of my suitcase. I don't got a ton of time.
Ooh.
So,
She seems a little angry.
heading to the airport. We got back really late. I didn't vlog again last night after the podcast, which I think in the shortest way I can sum up my entire experience is the name of the podcast really lived up to itself.
Ooh. Shady.
Whatever. The name of the podcast really lived up to itself, you know.
Oh, we need to find what this podcast was about, you guys. We need to. Hold on, let me do some searching. Okay, I know what this is. Why would you go on this, Rosie? Why would you go on this, girl? They are so mean, so misogynistic, transphobic, just nasty on this show. Why would you go on there? Damn, the views, though. Hold on. Like, do y'all know, you guys know this setup. You know this setup. And I don't know if these guys are different than, like, the main hosts that they have on there or whatnot, but it's terrible. It's terrible. I mean, maybe we will have to watch some of this. We might have to sometime. Let me know down in the comments if you want to, but we're going to stay on track here with Rosie's experience.
Whatever. I knew what I was walking into.
Why would you walk into that? Genuinely, that's honestly, now that I know what LOLcow universe is, that is worse than going on LOLcow Live. Dead ass.
I made a calculated decision just to see what would happen. And I will probably come on here later and talk about the whole experience, but I do want to say my favorite part of the experience, and that was meeting Farah, who was the girl who was sitting next to me.
Swallowing a lot.
She came in like not long before filming, and she sat down, and I turned and I looked next to her, and I was like, "You look familiar." Like I couldn't remember what I knew her from, but I was like, "I know her face. Like she looks familiar to me." And she like just casually mentioned like, "Oh, I do like stuff on the internet. You might have seen that or whatever she said, something to that effect." And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." I couldn't recall until sometime within the middle of it was like a 5 or 6 hour live. It was a lot.
Holy shit.
At some point in the middle of that, she just
With that many views too, though, I bet she got a pretty cut.
like was talking about like people's reactions to her skits on TikTok, and then I went, "Oh." My dad just messaged me about the podcast. Yeah. Anyway, I I'm going to talk about my whole experience
I don't know who any of these people are, so.
because I have a lot to say. But when she said that she did the satirical skits, I literally it popped in my head. I was like, "Oh, I've binge watched your TikTok. Like, I think you're really funny. Like, I might follow you. You know, I couldn't remember, like at least on TikTok." And I looked at her. I was like, "Oh, so by the time it wrapped, as soon as like the cameras were off, I turned to her and I was like, 'Hey, Farah, I remember now. Like, I really love your TikToks. Like, I binge watched them. Like, I think you're really funny. Like, I just like
It's not that Farah, right? No. No, right? I can't remember her last name. Fuck. You know who I'm talking about. 16 and pregnant to porn star. Farah.
I told her what I thought of her
Or Farah.
because I was like, "Oh, I mean, I have this opportunity to tell her that to her face," and
Hold on, give me a sec. Okay, no, I don't think it's her. Never mind. Never mind. Oh, that would have been crazy.
No, I think she was really closed off and guarded because, me too. You know, like in that room, you can't go in there assuming anybody is your friend.
Well, yeah.
And so, like, once we started that conversation, she kind of like smiled and was just like a lot more interactive with me. And she said some stuff to me that really like made my heart happy because also during the podcast when they pulled up my clips, she was like, "Oh, I saw that on Twitter." I was like, that's cool. And then
Okay, can we get to the actual like podcast shit?
um
Maybe we'll watch the clip at the end, guys. At the end, we'll see.
she and I were talking and she told me, she was like, "Yeah, this is some of the freshest content this content has had in months. It's the first time
This content.
in a long time that I've learned anything new at all in regards to the topic that I brought up." And that just was like so from her was
Oh, because she's so educated. That's what we're getting to. Okay.
such a massive compliment. And she was just
I mean, I believe it. I believe it. That's yeah.
she was just really nice, and she said a couple other things.
Not that I let me rephrase that. I'm not saying I believe Rosie brought the freshest, most intelligent content the show has seen in months. I'm not saying that.
I'm tired and have to pack, so I'll try to remember to say them later because I don't want to forget. Y'all know my short-term memory. And then she
Sorry. Another one added to the list.
like basically like started to look me up and like followed me without, I didn't. Of course, I didn't ask her to follow me or anything. But like
Oh. Something maybe tells me she asked her to follow her. I think we should like follow each other. Probably like that.
I felt so complimented by her because she also was just
Okay.
like, you really held your own, and she said that you did like
I bet Rosie gets heated, dude. I've seen some of her lives, okay? I have. Y'all tell me, like, Jordan, you need to. No, I've seen her get snippy, okay? Okay, I've seen it, but I would love to see her rage out.
she was just really nice,
I
and
mean,
she
we
was just like
did.
really cool.
We did. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on!
And that was that was the highlight of the experience. I also really liked Misty. I didn't interact too much, but she was really nice to me and very warm. And
Did you feel her? No. I'm kidding.
Yeah. We can talk about the men later.
Girl, you knew what you were getting into with that, so... I mean, I understand. I understand. I understand.
I'm gonna go.
Those setups, like, always terrified the fuck out of me. I wouldn't want to be the only queer person sitting on that panel, dude.
Glad I came to California.
Because even some of the women don't be helping.
Overall, the net positive was worth it.
Okay. Oh,
Also,
that's right. So she did the Cali trip for that. Holy fuck. Ooh.
later. Hi, friends.
Oh, we get the lay down shot. Lovely.
It is Monday night. I am finally home after traveling all day. I left the airport at 10:30 Pacific time and got home at like about 9 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm just kind of like,
Ew. That's a lot. That's a lot.
what's reality right now? I've decided that I'm going to kind of upload some things out of
I bet you they got her the flight with the most connecting flights on the way back.
order. So I'm going to upload this next. I've got a ton of vlog footage from being in Cali.
I don't know what the videos are after this, but I don't know as though it was that many more vlogs.
From pre-interview and then very little post, mainly because by the time we got back to my friend's place, it was like 1 a.m. Pacific time, and I had to wake up at like 7:30 in the morning. So I literally
Say Pacific time again.
Came home and crawled into bed and just passed out.
What vlog content were you going to get us at 1 in the morning anyways, Rosie?
I was so tired. And so I've got a lot I want to say about my experience being on the Whatever podcast and experiencing a real life misogynistic troll.
Well, again, you knew what you were getting into with them. Who's she staring at? She ain't looking at us. Is she looking at herself? She's gotta be.
That was just a lot. And it was really interesting, the entire experience. And I have opinions, and I want
to be honest, I've said it. I would not feel comfortable even putting myself in that situation. I'm not, I know I come off really confrontational, but I'm not. I'm not, especially with a certain mentality of person, or I should specify a certain mentality of man. Absolutely not. I'm not the one to have the conversation or to try to change this guy's mind. I don't give a fuck.
to share them, and I want to share them coming from a place to make it very clear that I'm not hating on the host of the podcast or thinking people need to get canceled or whatever.
No, they can say and do whatever they want. It's their platform. I don't care in that regard. More so, it's just I would never align myself with that type of creator. Unless we're having a conversation about how what they're saying is bad.
It's not at all the way I want to go about it. But I do want to talk about my experience from beginning to end, including off camera and everything. I did vlog some random conversations with my friend, and I haven't gone through any of that footage yet. So I was having a fucking grand old time. I'm gonna probably upload a separate vlog with just a bunch of footage that can't be monetized.
Oh.
Not for anything super scandalous, but just because of TOS, with music and other things. And so, and I'm going to include my Instagram story highlight reel for people that aren't on my Instagram, but I was posting on my stories. And I was just fucking feeling myself, having
oh god,
a grand old time. Stopped off at the recreational weed store that
Okay, wait, we saw her getting the drink, right?
my friend highly recommended, and like the prices were just fucking awesome. And
Yeah, I'll say that. I mean, I've never bought Cali bud before. Well, I'm sure I have, but not in Cali. But when I was out in Vegas, holy shit, dog, the prices were fucking incredible. Oh my Christ. Why can't we get that over here? Ugh. I mean, of course, they had like way more expensive options, but there was a base minimum price that was really, really good. We were hitting up the dispensary like every day when we were there.
I got some really cool stuff. I get to the podcast location.
Their edibles too over there, fucking dank.
I get up pretty quick. Oh, I mean, it took them a few minutes to let me in, but I got up pretty quick. And pretty much like I was just, I don't know, I was trying to be myself and just like calm, cool, collected, and like open to the possibility that like these people weren't judging me. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a good way to go into it. However, I think that face says everything.
And so I get in and I'm just kind of like confused, and then I'm just kind of like really overwhelmed.
I bet.
I was really overwhelmed. I had to like sign my release form to be on the podcast, whatever. He the host didn't show up right away. Like he came in a little bit later, and I think he was really stressed out and kind of pissed off because a bunch of people flaked last second for this specific panel. And so that kind of really changed the vibe of what the panel was supposed to be. And they kind of rushed things last minute. And so like I noticed like he didn't like say hello to me, but also he didn't really say hello to the other people. Like he didn't really greet anybody. He was just kind of like walking around. And
so you're gonna come on here and basically say like he runs his show really poorly? That's basically what you're saying, Rosie. You're happy to take their money, but you're gonna turn right around and shit on them.
I don't think he even spoke to me until really like the cameras were rolling. If he did, it was very like brief. And I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, truth be told, you kind of want to save it for camera, yeah? Yeah. I mean, on ice is a thing. It means no fucking talking when the cameras aren't rolling.
I feel like if I was hosting a podcast, I would at least like greet myself and like, handle that differently. But at the same
Introduce yourself, you mean?
time, I know what I was signing up for. That's the thing I do want to say and address, because I feel like a lot of the people who like follow me really would not normally vibe or watch that kind of content. And
Yeah, period.
like,
I don't even think most of Girl World would be interested in that type of stuff, honestly.
I highly respect that. Like, if you support me and you don't watch that podcast interview, like, I'm not going to hold it against you, because it's a very different type of anything I've really ever done before. And it's very different from like how I normally live my life, which is one of the reasons why I decided to do it. I knew that agreeing to do something like that was a calculated risk. It was an opportunity to go to California, which I'd never done. It was an opportunity to challenge myself and an opportunity to learn some stuff about myself. And I feel like all of those things happened. I made small talk with some of the people that were on the podcast, and like I felt like Mason, he's like the 27-year-old like virgin Christian male that they had on the panel.
Work diva.
I felt like he was really respectful towards me, like in
Well,
the person-to-person interactions. Probably one of the only men there really that was like that besides the off-camera dude. I think his name is Nick. Other than that, I mean, fuckface. I'm not saying the man's name. I feel that someone who treats me the way that he treated me.
Well, girl, let's be for real. You knew what you were getting into. So, I ain't saying it's right. I would never conduct myself in that manner. I would never even think that way. But how you going to get into the lion's den and then be mad when you're mauled by the lion, right?
On that podcast is someone that's not really worth naming.
You went and brought them so much revenue by being on their show, dog. So, like, the damage is done.
And so he has a platform. I realized, like, like after the fact, I was like, I think I've heard his name before, probably just like mentioned somewhere on the internet about.
If y'all haven't seen anything of it, it's very Andrew Tate-esque, the rhetoric on that type of show. If you know, you know.
Somebody with really bad takes. Because boy, does he have a lot of bad takes. And it was just really interesting because for like the first few hours or the first couple hours especially, I was choosing to just be like engaging and like receptive to a conversation and open-minded.
Yeah, the issue is I don't think that's what they're there or what they're looking for, dude. I just don't.
To like the possibility of like respectful discourse. And he was the only person that did any kind of low blows towards anyone. And he is truly like the epitome of everything that I've been fighting online these past 10 years.
I think that's a little bold, but I'll let you finish.
And there was at some point during our conversation where it kind of just hit me that I was looking into like the face of all of the hate and vitriol that I've gotten over the years.
Did you even do your research on this podcast, my dude? I mean,
like the manifestation of that is embodied in a person like him. And while he may be married and not by definition an incel, I believe that there are a lot of people who subscribe to incel culture who are not necessarily involuntary celibate. And he definitely fits the bill for that.
it's the rhetoric that he perpetuates. I mean, like I said, it's the same thing with like Andrew Tate. I mean,
the moment that I saw him, like when he walked in, he never said a single word to me off camera. And
however, if we're being logical here, I'm going to give y'all a bit of advice. If you can refrain yourself from allowing it to heat you up, to cause you to have a reaction, then I actually suggest going and seeing what these others are saying. Because it's better to know how your enemy is moving. You hear what I'm saying?
To me, that kind of behavior speaks volumes. And frankly, was I interested in speaking to him off camera? Of course not. But before I knew who he was, before anything, like when he first walked into the room, initially I was just, I bottom line, bad vibes. And I mean, his behavior ended up really reconfirming that for me.
Dog, all I needed to see was the setup, and I was like, damn, Rosie, really? You went there? Okay.
But the...
You know what? Fuck it. Let's watch the clip now. I like, y'all need to see the type of shit. I actually think they have... Oh, no, Andrew Wilson. I thought I said Andrew Tate. Oh, my God. She slept with 10 men in one night? What the fuck? Okay, you do you, queen. All right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, their looks, physical looks, scale 1 to 10. We'll go around the table. Go ahead.
8. So 8.5.
8, 8.5.
I'm 10. 7.
8.
6.5. I'd say 7.58, 4.
That's lower than last time. I used to say 6. 5.
In front of all these beautiful women, how could I ever not humble myself down to a 4, really?
Proud of you,
All
Andrew.
the mouth noises.
It's a goods.
I'm a 5. I give myself a 5. So wait, 8, 8.5, 10, 7? 8? Okay. All right.
Brian, you rated yourself lower than usual.
Yeah, I've been
Wait, what
getting
did
a
you
little
rate
chubby.
yourself?
6.5.
See, now that's humble.
Yeah, that's humility.
That's
right there.
humble. That's humility. Right? That's the thing that's usually harder for men to do.
This is awkward. What the fuck? So, I'm going to continue on, but you're definitely going to hear some chomping in the background, and I do apologize. Here's what it is.
The drool spot.
So, there you go.
Say it. Just point it out.
I've noticed a pattern here. I think men tend to fairly accurately self-assess their own level of physical attractiveness, whereas
I've heard
Women
men
not
have
so much?
more self-esteem issues than women do.
what's that?
I've heard men have more self-esteem issues than women do.
I disagree a little.
Why would you say that?
Just, and I also heard that they're also more emotional.
Are they?
Who have you heard these
Yeah,
things
because,
from?
well, I mean, you guys will act off based off pride, and that is going to be like an emotion thing, not necessarily logic.
Okay.
Do you think
But-
men or women have more cosmetic surgery?
I think probably women.
Yeah, probably women. Do you think that that's because they have way more self-esteem than men?
I
That's a good
don't
point.
think that necessarily what I'm talking about is the same thing. I just mean like,
Well, I think it is.
Symmetric.
well, for instance, you just rated yourself a 4, right?
Yeah.
And maybe people may not agree with you. And I just rated myself a 10, and people may not agree with me, right? But we're just talking about simple or self-esteem. My self-esteem is clearly higher.
No,
than yours.
I'm not sure that we are. I think that what we're talking about is a value judgment. And I think that I'm making a way better value judgment than the value judgment that you're making. So the value judgment that I'm making is this. I'm old, and I'm
It's entirely subjective, dude. Let's get to the part where they're talking about Rosie.
value judgment of how you came.
You're great.
Right. So you
Yeah, he asked me what I would rate myself, and
Yeah.
because it's my opinion
Looks.
about myself,
Just looks.
I
I think Rosie's afraid to speak up, honestly.
am. I'm a Misty.
7.5.
I said 8
Oh.
Yeah, get it right,
How
Andrew.
did you
Get it right,
how did you
Andrew.
come to that value judgment?
because I don't put within my value within a rigidity. A rigidity? That's not the right word. Rigidity. Thank you.
Rigidity, yeah.
I don't put that within that rigidity of certain, I guess,
Value judgments.
more subjective opinions about what value is, because I know my value, I know my worth, and I know my beauty that I hold within myself for myself, and that is appreciated by other people. Because at the end of the day, beauty is subjective, and it is absolutely within my right to hold myself to a higher value and how I conduct myself in the world around me.
Yeah, but when you're talking
The people staring directly into the mic. It's not just him.
the value judgment here, my wife, I'm sure that she has a way higher value judgment of me than I have of me. I would agree that she probably should. From her subjective assessment, she probably thinks I'm a great provider. She thinks I'm a great father. She thinks I take care of all of my responsibilities and duties. She can 100% trust me. So she probably has this really high value judgment of me. But when I'm doing an actual assessment of me, like Andrew Wilson, the person, and my looks and how it's reflected outwards to other people, right? I'm adding this value, this value, this value, this value, this value, like a mathematical formula to come up with that equals 4. What are you doing to come up with that other than, I just think that we should have high self-esteem because I just think so.
Because I know I'm a good person. Because frankly, if we want to get aesthetic, I don't have a busted face. I'm fat. And if people want to reduce my...
You know what? T. T. Amber could say the same thing. You know what? I know I'm not busted. I'm just fat.
Because of my fatness, that's not my problem. And that is not the ideology I hold for myself.
Rosie, I commend you for going there and attempting this, but I do not think this was the audience. I mean, it's just...
I am someone who is pursuing weight loss, not for aesthetics, not for looks, but for my health. And it is something I'm moving forward with because I have been for the past 2 to 3 years now working on my self-love and loving myself into a place to care enough about myself to take my health back into control. When I was being consistently shamed when I was gang stalked on r/fat people hate in 2015.
Gang stalked? What?
When I have...
Looks like it worked.
I'm still
I
speaking.
mean, it looks like it worked.
I'm still
right?
speaking.
It worked because you're going to
You know,
change.
you're really great at over talking and being disrespectful, and I'd love the opportunity to get my point across.
Okay, but just to cut in here a little bit, the original question was rate your looks.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned your personality, you have a great personality or whatever it is.
And like I said, my fatness doesn't devalue me.
Why?
So I'm an 8.
Why doesn't it?
Because I think that fat can be beautiful. It's my assessment of my looks, right?
Yeah, but why is it that your own assessment of your looks has nothing to do with how the external world perceives you? That's my problem.
I don't give a shit.
Right, because you don't care, so there's no real value judgment.
I don't care about other people's opinion of me. It's not more important than the opinion I hold of myself.
Yeah,
and
it is.
If you don't live that way, that sucks for you.
If there's a value judgment of how you would self-assess your own looks, the only possible conceivable metric I could even think of would be the perception of how other people view you for your value judgment of how you look.
And I was in a relationship for almost 8 years with someone who thought my body was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen.
It was perception.
And he had told me that
those are the things that you
more often.
Yo, this is getting... I knew Rosie would not be able to control her temper.
Not.
Go ahead.
He had told me that more often than not.
Can you speak certain?
Yeah, he had told me that more often than not.
Bruh, do you need her to speak into the mic? I heard her crystal fucking clear.
I've been pursued by many men who think I am gorgeous and beautiful. That perception exists whether you have it or not.
Okay, so assume for a second.
Wait, not to like...
That perception exists whether you have it or not.
This guy's face.
Okay, so assume for a second. I can assume inside of, I can envision a world where you're the only human being who's inside of the world.
And guess what? I'll never be the only one who thinks I'm hot, and I know that bugs the shit out of you.
If you're the only human being who's inside of a world, I can perceive that I can come up with whatever metric I want for myself because
This is such a weird conversation, dude. It's semantics on both sides, to be honest.
Nothing to compare it to. So if I have nothing to compare it to and I have nobody else's value judgment, then I can say I'm the most beautiful person who's ever lived, and that would be true. But if I have the value judgment of hundreds of millions of people to compare the standard to...
No, T, she ate with that. Like, you asked our opinions, but now we're supposed to consider the opinions of the billions of other people on Earth. Okay.
And I know that I'm below that threshold and just...
All right, now we're... Okay, we see what it is, all right?
Highlight of my interaction with him for me was a few hours in, like, it was, I think, close, like right before the 4-hour mark. When someone asked a question about mandatory paternity testing, and I didn't really feel a strong stance on that question. I just was kind of like answering it and just kind of trying to figure out what to say, because I mean, it's just a situation that I'm not really gonna probably ever run into because I don't want to have children in this lifetime.
And the question ended up coming up like, do you want children or whatever? Or are you going to have children or whatever? And I said no. And then immediately, and it wasn't caught on camera. I don't know if this was purposeful or not, but they switched the camera over as he did the motion. He went like, yes, like to me, essentially not procreating for a man like him, as I'm sure is what he would say. And I called him out on it, and so did Misty. And it was a point that it was at that point that I felt like the gloves came off. And
I mean, shit, we say it about Amber and Foodie, that it's a good thing that they can't procreate, so. But that's like actually, like, no, it's a good thing they can't. It's a good thing they can't.
I really wanted to make sure that I carried myself in a way that I knew I wasn't going to give them what they wanted, because there were multiple times that he tried to neg me, and I just stared him down because I was like, you don't bother me. And it was about around, like I mentioned, the 4-hour mark that I realized how much I bothered him. He like was so.
It took you that long? Sorry, Rosie, but I would have known on the plane ride there, like, oh, these people are going to be fucking hating me.
Angry that I rated myself an 8. And he was
oh, ironic. We just watched the clip. Perfect.
so triggered by my confidence, because all of the men on this panel they flat out, all of them said that, because I asked them, I felt it was important to highlight this distinction, that they felt modesty is a better attribute to have in a woman than confidence, that they would rather have a non-confident woman.
I hear what you're saying, but I think modest and confident don't necessarily like cancel each other out. You know what I mean? Someone can still be modest and confident.
Who was like insecure and, didn't believe in herself.
But no, that's, I 1,000% understand and agree with what Rosie's saying here.
Modest versus a woman who's confident. So like, of course he fucking doesn't like me. Like, not only am I confident, but I'm fat and confident. And it was just, I feel a very powerful moment for me to realize that this man did not actually affect me at all, to the point that when I left afterwards, I didn't cry. I wasn't sad. I didn't like have a meltdown. I didn't like feel triggered at any point in time at all. The only time I was even irritated or borderline, like, I don't know if necessarily angry is the right word, but just like where I really felt like the gloves came off were when was it the mother thing? I think that was the one thing that like that felt very like a personal attack.
Okay. I mean, shit. I'd take that compared to what they could be doing.
And you're like, we were directly all told that you can't fucking do that. Like, that's part of the rules of the podcast. And I felt like the moderator, if I'm being honest, wasn't very good at moderating. And I feel like whether it's a purposeful bias towards the men on the panel or just a laissez-faire attitude towards the conversation, I'm not sure. I feel like
I do find it interesting that we're having this conversation now when you're always back at home, but then again, I don't know what was fully said during those 5 hours, and I'm not gonna. My God.
he was definitely purposefully moderating Farah over fuckface. And yeah, I just think that there was more that could have been done. And also, I don't know if it was just like, I don't know if it's always like that, or he was just kind of off the ball because he was like thrown off from the circumstances around that particular panel's casting or whatever. But I will say that I feel like the podcast is really professional, especially in like dealing things behind the scenes, like making sure that I was reimbursed for travel, things like that. I felt like Nick was like good at his job in terms of like being accommodating, and like when he graded me, like I didn't feel judged, you know. But I definitely had moments where I was sitting there and I was like trying to figure things out, and I was like, I can't tell if I am being negged or not, because like, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, kind of inherently that's what the questions are, and then they're coming in with a rebuttal.
I am autistic, and so I was bullied enough that I've learned to be pretty good at like telling when people are like trying to be like fake nice to be funny. And there was just like very clearly some moments where I just kind of I was like unsure of the standing, but how I got.
I'm side-eyeing a little bit because we do know that she has not been diagnosed with autism.
Those moments was just focusing on the fact that like I don't actually care or value the opinion of people that don't really see me as a full actualized person.
Were you going there though to try to change their minds, or just because I commend you in sorry, whoa, in the sense of going there to open up a dialogue that will get the audience to start thinking and to think maybe in a more open way. I understand that. But if you're going there specifically to change these guys' minds, that seems like a lost cause.
And the other guy on the panel that I haven't really mentioned, he didn't really talk a whole hell of a lot. I think his name was like Q-Tip or something. I don't know. He didn't really speak a lot, but when he did, I just really didn't feel like it had any major impact or any true importance to the conversation. They were all just kind of general misogynistic talking points. But I don't know if he's always quiet like that or if it was different. I don't know. But all that to say, I don't really regret doing it because I feel like the experience was overall a net positive. And I realized that like just how much I've grown this past year, let alone this past 3 years, because there was a time where if I had entered in that room, I would have crumbled under.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised you went in the first place.
The pressure of the situation. And I wouldn't have been able to focus, and I would have been triggered, and it would have been.
Were we not? I mean, we were getting a little loud. I speak very passionately too, though, so I understand.
Conceivable action to put myself in a situation with someone who I would normally never share a table with. And I felt like doing that, having that conversation.
Could you imagine Amber? Oh my God.
Those conversations, allowing myself to stand in my authenticity and stand in who I am.
Well, I mean, they do want your honest opinion on the matter. It's not like they invited you there to troll their audience.
In spite of other people's thoughts or actions towards me. I feel like that was a moment of true clarity and growth with what I experienced, like being gang stalked online and
Again, why are we referring to it as that?
being so heavily bullied, not just in high school, but like on the internet and in my past, and how much those things used to affect me. I haven't read a single comment on the video. I watched back probably 3/5 of it.
That's a lot. Also interesting fraction you chose.
I don't really think I'm going to because I think like the after show portion was really weird. I don't understand.
This is the first time she's like looking right at us. Ugh. Wait. I need to get a thumbnail at some point. Her just laying here doesn't provide much for us guys. Alrighty?
Like how that happened, to be honest with you. Like I don't understand. I do not understand.
Interesting. Do you think she showered since being there?
I just lost my train of thought, but whatever.
Girl. We could have cut this out. She's probably coming down from all the Cali weed.
I think I'm gonna include the clip from this morning because I didn't really vlog while I traveled very much. But I think I'll include that clip like in this video because I talked in more detail about my experience with Farah. Because I didn't realize it till midway through the podcast how I knew her, but as the moment I saw her, I was like, you look so familiar.
Oh, we're back on this? Why?
And it was because I had been binge watched her content in the past, and I really liked her TikToks, and
Do I need to cut out? No.
she made these very satirical skits, and I just heavily vibed with it because it was like satirically on topics of things like feminists that were like very clearly like satirical anti-feminists, like, and that was kind of the point of the joke, right? And I mean, I'm someone who likes Bo Burnham, and so I like that kind of thing. And
to compare someone to Bo Burnham, like, listen, that was a little.
she's like an OnlyFans model.
I'm not saying Bo Burnham's bad. I'm not saying that. I enjoy Bo Burnham, but like it's a grand comparison.
And by the end of it, especially, I realized I think we have a lot in common in a lot of ways, even though we're probably clearly very different people, right? And she said some things to me that really like impacted me and made me like feel heard and like understood. And like on the podcast, when they pulled up the clip of me, she goes, "Oh, I saw that on Twitter," and I was like, "Oh my God!" First of all,
of course, she's just fangirling.
I didn't even know that was on Twitter. So
that's what really impacted you. Oh my God, I saw that on Twitter.
Interesting. I don't even know of any tweets that I was mentioned in or anything. So that's crazy. But she's
I have a feeling she definitely knows.
She told me that she said that I brought some of the freshest content she's seen on the podcast in like 6 months or since she's been on it or something like that. And
so the things that really stuck with you were just compliments that she gave you. I mean, very quirky love Rosie coded.
She was just really like
quirky coded
receptive to me, and she started looking me up and followed me like before I even followed
Oh yeah, she's just fangirling.
her on Instagram, because I think I had mainly seen her on TikTok, so I wasn't following Instagram. Of course, I followed her back, because I was just like, I think the reason I didn't click right away is it had been a minute since I'd seen some of her videos, and
Wow.
I really liked her comedy and like her personality.
Cool, Rosie.
And she I like that she goes on there, and I just felt like, I felt like really aligned with her, and I really like Misty, and I'm blanking on her name. I think it was Kimmy. She didn't really talk a whole lot, but she was sweet, and I couldn't figure out if Maddie was like doing the mean girl shit to me or not. I really
Is that the one in the middle? Because I'm going to tell you what, girl. Yes. Just from the looks, yes.
couldn't tell. Like it, and to me, like that's the things that the thing that's the most difficult about being autistic is like I really couldn't figure out what's the way she was behaving. But the thing that I noticed the most about her was when I was rewatching the podcast on the flight on the way home, because she was also someone who really didn't, I noticed, wasn't really talking as much, and I realized that she didn't really spoke unless she was spoken to, which is probably why she was the only girl getting compliments on the podcast, because
what a fuck. Oh, what an assumption to make.
I think I don't really know much about her standpoints on a lot of things, honestly, because again, she didn't really say a ton. And those are just kind of like my thoughts and experiences.
Maybe she also just didn't feel comfortable speaking up on certain things.
There was only really one person that I felt any like true negativity towards, and it was because of like the personal attacks. And
listen, I think the conversation with you and that guy was entirely based on semantics. So like I understand, but really you're that pissed off at him just because he pushed back on that? Like, really? Really?
I mean, I think at one point he essentially called me crazy, and was just
Is that
really
the worst thing he could have called you? Really?
disrespectful and truly triggered by not only my like presence, but I think he was literally triggered by the concept of my existence.
Rosie, that seems like you're over. I think you're placing too much importance of yourself into that man's life.
And honestly, I love that shit, because I think that it's so sad to be such a narrow-minded human being, to be such a judgmental, harsh, unkind person who thinks that they can redefine kindness.
Interesting.
Because of their own like egotistical God complex. And for someone,
Sorry, I don't really have anything to say on that, but she, it kind of sounded like she said egotistical.
to be so painfully average and think that they're so important, can't relate.
Well, Rosie. We have to see some irony here, girl.
So, yeah, I was playing by the rules, and I didn't really feel it necessary to insult someone in the midst of a discussion. Unfortunately, I wasn't afforded that same respect because I'm a fat woman.
I'll agree with you. I mean, I'll agree with you. I also find it interesting that it was the only woman of color on there as well that was kind of behind you on the stance. Well, I shouldn't say only. There was the Asian girl. I don't know what they are, okay? I'm sorry. I don't know their specific ethnicities.
So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. In terms of all of that, would I go on the Whatever podcast again?
I don't know why you would.
I think so. I want to have like an actual conversation more so about dating and all the derailment that happened because of the what happened with the casting. I want to have like an actual plus size panel experience, and
Well, I don't think you're going to get that on that show, girlie.
I am really proud of myself, and I feel like I am.
Could you imagine her, Glitters and Lasers, Foodie Booty, and Amberlynn all on a panel? A roundtable discussion with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Someone who can hold my own, and I'm willing to be a voice that isn't the favored side in a conversation.
Why do you have to be the favored side in a conversation? I mean, I think that's an interesting choice of phrasing.
And I want to be a light in a room full of darkness.
Yep.
You know?
Okay.
And I think that that's what I did. And there's going to be a lot of people.
You were yelling, girl. We could have spoke a little more gently if that was the case.
That will see me and automatically like never even give me a moment of a chance, whether because I'm a woman, I'm fat, or both, or whatever. But beyond that, some of a lot of the positivity and messages and support that I've gotten today from the podcast has been really good too, and I'm really, really, really happy that I decided to do this. It made me see things about myself and made me think about things in certain ways that maybe I hadn't necessarily done before. And as long as it remains respectful, like I am the kind of person that's willing to have conversations with people, even if I don't agree with them, or I just think they're, you know, an alien in terms of like their way of thinking is so foreign to me. I don't know how to compute. I just think I also really love podcasts. I love being on.
Well, yeah, we know you love to just sit down and basically talk about yourself.
Podcasts. I like how the one of the biggest differences between, because there's obviously so many differences between what my experience with We're All Insane and with the Whatever podcast. I think the biggest distinction was like, you know, the first one was about me, and it was just kind of, I didn't have as much like direction to go off of, but the panel was like a bunch of back and forth and different perspective and topics, and I would have enjoyed it a lot more if that one guy wasn't there.
The one person that was actually pushing back. I mean, to be honest, we didn't see much of a real conversation happening without him.
Even though I really didn't like the opinions of like the other three a lot of the time, I was just kind of like, sometimes I was looking at them like they had 6 heads because I just couldn't compute. You know, I didn't feel like they were disrespectful or combative. And it's just so weird to me.
Hold on. Let's dive back into this a little bit.
Side that I'm above that threshold anyway.
I'm not the only
That's not
person who
based
makes
on
that
anything
decision.
objective. You're just making shit up.
No,
You
I'm
literally
not,
asked us
babe.
our opinion, so yes, it was a made-up opinion from us.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah, but
It's
that
way
was the point.
overstated.
That
What's
was the
true?
point. The only person who's not happy
Your
about that is you.
perception of your truth is not the same for myself or,
Thank you.
or
Amen
anyone
on the
else.
back.
Yeah, what is truth in a world
And
that
also,
you're
and,
an eight?
what societal standards in which country?
I must
In
bug the
every
shit out of
country
you.
on planet Earth, she's not an
Respectfully,
eight.
wait.
You're ridiculous.
I don't-
It's ridiculous.
In different places,
be
different
honest.
people
Let's
like
keep
different
things
things.
Yeah, he's so combative, bro. It's wild.
Well,
He gets very.
Oh,
I live in reality.
Bro.
Do you know what
And
reality
that is
is?
the bottom line here, and I've been respectful. Well, how many
It's not
hours in?
disrespectful. I'm just telling you what's true.
Oh, what
I
was
think
the
it's
what
like
was
the
the thing about me
energy.
being a mother, bro?
That
the
was
energy you put towards it.
That was
Bruh.
me
Guys,
being
let's,
able to.
No,
It's
I'm not.
interesting
I'm
to
not gonna.
claim-
I've been taking it respectfully for hours now.
But to be fair,
Ooh.
also, it's interesting to claim to be so religious and so close to Jesus and be so negative.
To tell the truth.
No, I'm just saying, just to be so
What would
negative.
Jesus do? He'd be
He would
like,
turn-
"You're a 10,
he would literally
sweetheart.
turn the other
Forget
cheek.
objective
He would
reality."
turn the other cheek.
if I believed
He
in
would
Jesus,
turn the
he
other
would love
cheek.
me as one of God's
good Lord.
children.
Yes.
He would have known that
Yes.
it's my
Your
journey and my
negativity
life.
is
But he would know
embarrassing
you're
to the
fat too,
religious
whether he loves you or not.
And you know what? Being fat is not bad.
It's embarrassing though to
And
claim
that's
the
the
religion you
fundamental
have.
disagreement we
Which is
have.
how
Insane.
negative.
It's just
you
fucking
think.
crazy.
It is. Yeah,
Like-
there's gonna be other people who are gonna be like, I don't claim this because it's like this is part of the reason why you're a hypocrite.
Can I be honest? Like, I understand where she's picking up a kind of combative energy. She's the one that's yelling, though.
There's
It's
no
like
hypocrisy.
You claiming to love and be this one big thing, and then to be so negative instead of encouraging or say even anything in actually
Love thy
constructive
neighbor,
way,
unless you're
form of
fat, right?
encouragement
in
is what
actually
she's
a
getting.
constructive way, you kind of just get pink and start yelling.
The only way
Yeah, he gets real like.
the only way
Pink and
that I
starts,
can get a word in when you shrill harpies are screeching is for me to talk loudly.
Oh no, I mean,
You know who this guy reminds me of? What was his name? I'm not making a joke of it, but the one that got slammed into the bulldozer by David Dobrik. You know.
A word in when you shrill harpies are screeching is for me to talk loudly.
oh no, I mean, you're really great at
You do it
over talking. It's one of
regardless.
your best
You've been doing
qualities.
it
You respect.
Well, I have to cut in
Well, you're talking over her, babe.
to cut down the prattle. That's true.
back on Pink after all of that.
I'm a terrible moderator. Okay, I'm a dog shit moderator. Okay, hold on. Let me just come in really quick. All right, put your swords away for just a sec. The views expressed by the panelists do not necessarily reflect the views of me or the whatever podcast. Now,
Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, they got heated.
view themselves. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are all women 10s?
I'm attracted to men.
No, I'm not saying beautiful. What?
Okay. I just figured we definitely need to see more of the altercation.
It's just so weird to me. And so if I go back, I just kind of don't want to deal with that ever again.
Rosie, it's kind of giving Amber putting her foot down and saying, I won't talk to Roxy at all. It's kind of giving that. You don't want to talk to the one person that's actually going to know their shit and push back on you. I'm not saying he knows his shit, but like that's what it is with Roxy, you know? Amber doesn't want her on the show, and she was kicked off because Amber doesn't want someone there that knows her shit.
So outside of the podcast, I had a fucking the joy that was radiating from me from the first day, and that beach vlog is my favorite vlog that I've ever made.
Really? Okay.
And yeah. There was one thing I noticed in the rewatch that really pissed me off that I didn't hear during, and it was when Fuckface McGee
Damn, bitch.
made a comment because I talked about, it was about the shaming portion, like when he was trying to say that because I'm a public figure that the world has a right to basically publicly shame and
Well, opinion. People are allowed to have an opinion, and no matter how fucked it is.
harass and bully me to be a warning to women to not be like me.
Well, you do come on saying this is a warning, like, don't be a feeder, don't get into this community, body positivity community is bad, this community is bad. Like, you do kind of come on acting like a warning to others, like, don't fall into the same rhetoric I did.
I wish I was joking. And I was looking at him like, I mean, truly, like, if it wasn't so sad, it would be funny.
Why is it sad?
You know? Like,
Truth be told, other than the fact that he's on a platform that's very large, other than that, like, what's it sad? Who do his views really truly affect at the end of the day? His circle of people, okay, his wife, which, like, hey, that's a whole other thing. But, like, does it affect you truly that much, Rosie? That someone else thinks a certain way? Like, if we're talking about self-confidence and self-worth, then that does not rely on what other people think.
that people really subscribe to such.
Oh, girl, please. Please, don't bother working yourself up looking at the numbers of how many people basically co-sign off on that type of content. Just don't.
Horrifically rigid, harsh viewpoints of the world.
Well, that type of viewpoint wasn't the only one there, though. So, as much as I even disagree with it, the argument still stands. Doesn't that voice, along with many others, deserve to be on a panel? I think that's up for debate, but I think that's what they're getting at here, is like, you're going to get a handful of opinions.
That they think that is like appropriate behavior in any scenario towards anyone. I don't understand.
Is it just me? Granted, we only saw that one clip. It didn't get that heated, did it?
And I never will, and I'm thankful for that. All right, I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. I will TTYO. Bye.
Ooh, right into the chest. Anyways, you guys, I feel like that was an interesting discussion. I do. I don't know. Tell me if you want to check out some more clips of her on the Whatever podcast, because there are more. They post like highlights, kind of. But let me know. I mean, not my type of content, but neither is the Law Cow bus shit, but here we are. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much once again for tuning on in. I hope everyone's having a beautiful Tuesday. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, like and subscribe to come on. And yeah, I'm not too sure what we're doing, but we'll see. We'll see. I just wasn't really feeling well earlier this week, so hopefully we can get caught up and back on schedule, but we'll see. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.